As parents, we constantly wonder if we're on track or not. In parenting, how strict is too strict? To answer this question, we've got to get into the motivation. It's what's driving it, I think, that determines whether it's too strict or not. Before we dive too much into that, let's get a little bit more of a definition. Strict, I think, means being able to enforce appropriate limits and rules effectively without giving in or being inconsistent. This is how I'm defining it. Strict is not mean. Strict is not mean. Put that in your notes somewhere. To be a strict parent is not a bad thing. To be a mean parent, we got a problem. So strict is not mean. Keep that in mind as we talk about this. Now, it's still a legitimate question. How strict is too strict? Where are you coming from as a parent? What is your motivation? What is your job as a parent? It's so fun for me when I get on discovery calls or in our positive parenting coaching groups. I ask people, what is your job as a parent? They always know. If they've been watching the channel, and you do too. If you're new to the channel, here's the answer. To love them, no matter what, and even if. To love them. Your job is to love your kids, no matter what, and even if. Now, if we play the even if game, even if they hate you, yes, even if they hate you. Even if they don't do what you ask them to, yeah, have you tried that one? Every parent gets tested on that one. Even if they get strung out on drugs or get thrown in prison or become a menace to society, yes, even if all of that terrible stuff happens, your job is to love them, no matter what and even if. Are we clear? That's important because we go back to the question, how strict is too strict? I tell you what, if you think your job is to make sure that anything, then you are at a high risk for being too strict as a parent. That motivation will have you jumping in and intervening and meddling and micromanaging to a point that is going to drive your kids crazy and it's going to frustrate you as well. We can look for that through three important feelings. These are indicator feelings: frustration, anger, resentment. If you as a parent are feeling a lot of frustration, anger, and resentment, it's probably because we got the control and maturity out of whack. But it also means that you are at risk for being too strict, or, as the case may be, for being too lenient. Because what if you think your job is to make sure that they're happy? They're going to throw all kinds of opportunities at you, arguing that this is what will make me happy, Mom. Dad, this is all I ever wanted. And you will cave in and you will give them and indulge them in whatever their desires are because you think your job is to make sure that they're happy. Your job is not to make sure that they anything. It's to love them no matter what and even if. And that's going to help us to regulate the right amount of strictness. Shared this on some other videos. It bears repeating here. There are two things that give you authority as a parent. You've got to have both in order to have authority. If you're missing one or the other, you won't have the authority that you need or the respect of your children. Here's the two things. You have to be able to set and enforce appropriate limits. Strictness has to do with setting and enforcing appropriate limits. Remember, it's not being mean, it's being able to do that. You have to be able to set and enforce appropriate limits. And the second thing you need to have authority with your kids is to be seen as a provider of good times and good things. You have to be able to provide some positives and some fun and to lighten up from time to time. If we're not having fun, we're doing it wrong. Both of those are required to have authority, to be able to set and enforce appropriate limits, and to be seen as a provider of good times and good things. If you're not up to speed on either of those, you're probably at risk for being too strict or too lax. So what is an ideal level of strictness? I think the ideally strict parent would have a calm and pleasant demeanor as they are able to set and enforce appropriate limits, follow through with consequences with consistency, and focus on the relationship with their child as being the most important element of this whole equation to start with. The relationship is what will give you the opportunity to influence your children for the long term, even after they've grown up and they're living a life of their own. We don't want to sacrifice the important elements of that relationship for some selfish desire to make sure that they whatever. That relationship is the most important. And it's more important than the structure of the discipline. I think to have that ideal level of strictness, though, you want to be able to focus on that relationship without sacrificing the structure of the discipline. You just keep it straight in your mind about which one's more important. Boy, you've probably figured it out by now that parenting is more of an art than a science. And there's some predictable principles we can apply, obviously. It's going to take some practice, too, and probably a community of other positive parents like you. Would you invite someone to the channel? Share these videos with them. Let's increase the community of positive, conscious parents that we have in our world.